Hello, welcome to Shad Life. Well, I've got a little further along in my project here. Uh, Most notably, I got the stem that I wanted in, and it just impressed me so much that I have to give Bill Ryan props. If you don't know who Bill Ryan is, he is the owner of Supercross. The story behind Torker and it resurfacing in this form, there's a whole history of Torker, but it went through definitely some ups and downs. Um, Believe it or not, I actually have a Torker unicycle in the garage. Yes. So it's kind of funny, but Bill Ryan purchased the brand or the name and is doing all these remakes. So he owns Torker, so it's kind of a subsidiary of Supercross, right? Well, I actually know Bill Ryan from back in the 90s. I talked to him on the phone a number of times, and the reason is because I ran a bike shop called Twin City BMX, and we carried Supercross back when Supercross was a new brand, right? And they made some cool frames. They had that like kind of double seat stay and thing. I don't know how to say it, but there were basically three different tubes back here. Super cool looking, unique. That was like cool back then, and good stuff too, like good quality frames. And if you fast forward to today, Supercross is the shit. Like in the BMX world, Supercross makes some of the best stuff, and it's super cool to see that they're still around, still doing the thing, right? But for Bill Ryan to buy Torker, right, and do what he's doing here is so awesome. I don't even have words for it, right? But let me show you the stem and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So keep in mind, this is a modern take on a classic bike, right? So it's got the V brakes and things like that. It's got a European bottom bracket, although there was an Eddie King model Torker in 1980 that had a Euro bottom bracket, and so on. And it's definitely modern geometry. So a longer top tube. This is 21.125, I think, and so on. But check out the stem. 1 1/8 threadless steerer. But you basically cover this and you look at that, and that is a Torker stem from back in the day, right? Like, that is so cool. 6 bolts, right? The original stems had a quill shaft with the bolt at the top, and then there was a little wedge underneath. But ever since threadless came out, this is definitely a better system. So it's cool to see stuff like this, and just so well thought out. Like, that is amazing. Impressive. Way to go, Bill Ryan. I'm stoked on that. And then you just look at the frame. I mean, that is so cool. And I'm sure he's got plenty of help from people. I mean, he's naming all these racers from back in the day and stuff that probably have had input on this. But, even the braces are like what they were back then. I mentioned that when I took this frame out. Like, normally you'd see a round tube here, but it's a flat plate, just like it was back in the day, right? So yeah, so cool. Yes, so super stoked on this. So let me give you an update on where I'm at. I'm really close. I have the headset in now, things like that, but I got a few things to finish. Let me talk about those. So one is pretty obvious. I need a brake cable, right? And to hook up the brake. That won't take me very long, right? Make sure this wheel is in there and not going to fall out. I see that it's not lined up. But the thing that I'm really struggling with, because that won't be that big of a deal to hook up, is this bottom bracket, right? So my strategy here has been to buy really cheap Shimano Euro bottom bracket so I can get the spindle width correct, right? So this is my third one, 123 millimeter with bottom bracket, right? But here's kind of what's weird is like the chain line is not correct. So if you look, the sprocket is not lined up with the chain ring, and you can do that just by kind of following that plane. You can literally see that it's too far to the outside, but not by much, right? And a typical, like, I'm gonna run a 10-speed chain, so that will accommodate that much offset because a 10-speed chain is designed for having gears. But I want it to be as in the line as I can. And so what I've noticed here is over here on this side, there's quite a bit of a space there, right? And over on this side, it's really close to the frame. Look how close that is, right? So you can't move the spindle or space it out or anything with this style bottom bracket. But there is a company that makes one, but the problem is it's really expensive. So Answer makes a spindle that there's actually lock rings on each side that slide back and forth within the bottom bracket. So you can actually adjust your chain line and adjust your crank arm clearance and all of that. It's titanium, and I can't find anything like it in like steel or chromoly or whatever in a cheaper version. So it's expensive. So it's going to have, for the bottom bracket, and you need to use the bottom bracket, it's 17 millimeters, I believe, spindle. So I can't use like a standard 19 millimeter spindle bottom bracket from Profile or something. So I'll have to do that. And then there's these little lock rings. And so the whole kit is about $130, which isn't terrible, but it's kind of like I'm putting this high-end titanium bottom bracket on this kind of bike with heavy wheels, and that's just made to look like a 79 Torker, right? But it is what it is. So I think I'm going to order that. Yes, if I want to throw a chain on here right now and pedal this around, I could, but I want to do it upright. So I'm going to get that bottom bracket, and that'll be the last thing I need to purchase for this bike aside from accessories. Like I'm thinking about a pad set, right? I already have the plate, but if I'm going to put a plate on here, it would only look appropriate if I put a pad set on here too. So but it looks cool naked like this too, so you know, I can, but the nice thing about plates and pad sets is I can just remove them when I want. The plate, I'll just use those like zip ties that have the little deal you can undo them with and stuff, removable zip ties. But I'm super stoked with how this looks. It's super impressive. And you know, this, you know, gusset and just the way it looks, like at first glance you'd look at it and think that it's actually a 79 Torker, but it's not. It's, everything's brand new. Like those V-bars just blow my mind that they even exist in a modern size. So 9-inch rise, 30-inch width, right? Like full size BMX handlebar. So sweet. And the fact that Mongoose is making these Motomag 3s that look just like the originals, and they're just as heavy as the originals. People have been asking me the weight, just over 4 pounds per wheel, and that would be without the freewheel on there on that one, which is about twice as heavy as an aluminum set of wheels. So there you have it. Just get those cranks dialed. It's something, it's a look I really want. Like this just looks a lot like the Super Maxis. So I just want to make this work. And if I can make it work, awesome. Performance wise, these cranks are probably not going to be all that great. Yeah, they're 70-75 aluminum made for fixed gear bikes. So maybe they'll be stiffer than I think they will be, but we'll see. Awesome. Yeah, this thing's just looking super badass. So there you have it. One more quick note before I end this video. I am going to raise over Thanksgiving weekend. So if anybody's going to be there, I'll be there. I will be wearing this bright orange new helmet that I have. It's a POC helmet, but it's got MIPS. So I will stand out. So if you're going to be there, if not, just expect some videos with me and my friends riding at Ray's here in a few weeks. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace. No, I'm not taking that to Ray's. I'm going to take my regular BMX bike to Ray's. All right.